Come on, Groot!
Groot ruined Christmas again.
Now we gotta have another special.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special post-credit scene and video for the ending of the movie. There's a lot of Easter eggs and references for the events of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in the trailer that they just released, and they pay off a bunch of long-running Easter eggs and references from earlier Marvel movies. So if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. My full breakdown video Easter eggs for the entire holiday special will post real soon too, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. But the whole idea here is that this is Marvel doing their version of the Star Wars holiday special with the Guardians of the Galaxy characters, and as they say in the post-credit scene, we'll have to do another special. It's just them saying that they're going to be doing holiday specials on a regular basis, one-off specials on a regular basis. But at the end of the special, Peter Quill reveals what that first Christmas with Yondu and the Ravagers Kraglin was like. Because part of the joke at the beginning is that the Guardians of the Galaxy have no real idea what Christmas is, they just know stories about it that Kraglin told them, but it's like a telephone game situation where the information is passed through so many hands that it's this complete misconception about what actually happens during Christmas. They have all these jokes about the other aliens like the old 97's band that are dressed as aliens, not understanding Santa Claus.
Mrs. Claus, she works the pole, plans her man's demise. No!
So at the very end, after Kevin Bacon performs the original song, it's an original Christmas song that James Gunn wrote with the old 97's, Peter Quill reveals the rest of the story of that original Christmas. Like, oh no, it didn't end badly. Yondu might have been a Grinch at first, but he actually warmed up to it. Yondu goes to the trash where Peter Quill put all the presents in the tree that he had put up. There's a Taserface reference because you remember that he was a regular Ravager for a long time before he rebelled during the events of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which obviously funny in this context because eventually Yondu's going to kill him. And we find out the gift that Peter Quill gave him is actually the toy that we saw on the dash in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie into the second movie. And it's just a way to show you what their relationship was like he really was his surrogate father. Yondu having it all those years later, even though he was really mad at Peter Quill during that first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, still thinks of him as his son. And we find out that Yondu's gift to him were the twin blasters that he's been using this whole time in the MCU, through all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And Mantis reveals the truth to Peter Quill about being his half-sister. So if you didn't realize this, they actually explained this during Guardians of the Galaxy 2. James Gunn was talking about it, but I think because a lot was going on during that movie, people just didn't think about that specifically. They had that funny montage during Guardians of the Galaxy 2 where Ego the Living Planet shows this diorama of him getting it on with pretty much the entire universe, trying to sire a child that he'll be able to use to take over the universe. And the idea is that most of them were failures. He wound up killing them, putting them in this pile there. But the reason why Mantis wasn't killed is because her powers were useful, even though he wasn't able to use her to take over the universe the way he used Peter Quill's energy. And if it wasn't clear, the whole idea is that Peter Quill is still half Celestial, Mantis now confirmed half Celestial, but his special Celestial power only existed when he was in contact or near Ego the Living Planet, and when he was alive. I know there are all kinds of theories about Ego the Living Planet secretly being alive out there in the MCU, but I think within the 616 MCU, he's supposed to be dead. So if we do see Ego come back, it'd be like a Secret Wars multiverse kind of twist. I know there's still tons of questions about Ego the Living Planet's relationship with the other Celestials like Arishem the Judge, but if you remember, he's meant to be a rogue Celestial. His whole plan is very similar to what the other Celestials were trying to do, seed life all across the universe, experiment with life. Ego the Living Planet was trying to do the same thing. It was just a very perverted version of that. You do kind of wonder, though, why the other Celestials didn't try to kill him, though. But the big idea earlier is that Mantis hadn't told him before this because, one, it was a deleted scene and James Gunn just wanted to save it for a later big reveal. And the in-universe version is because she was worried that Peter Quill would hate the idea because of what Ego the Living Planet did. But of course he loves the idea because now he has a sister that he didn't know about, which obviously he loves because now his entire family isn't dead. And in the animated flashback, again, we see Yondu put the toy on the dash as they head off for their next adventure, with the ship making the Merry Christmas sign with the energy. And if it wasn't clear, this ship that they're flying in is also part of the Dark Aster, the larger Ravager ship. This was long before they blew up the other part of the ship. This was the small detachable part that they were flying during Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It becomes a bigger thing during Guardians of the Galaxy 3 with Gamora's character, who I'll talk about in a second, because obviously she wasn't featured during this special. But in the actual post-credit scene, they have that funny tag scene with Rocket and Cosmo dressing Groot up like an actual Christmas tree because he is literally a talking tree, which he gets tired of, like he just gets tired of standing still, and they claim he's ruined Christmas again, so they have to do a whole other special, which itself is meant to be a reference to Marvel doing more holiday specials on a regular basis. They might do another Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, but I kind of think that they're going to rotate with other teams and characters, like the next holiday special will be a completely different group. Really good example of that is the surprise Deadpool Christmas movie that Ryan Reynolds just revealed that he made before Disney bought Fox. Recently, Ryan Reynolds explained that they wrote and prepared a secret Deadpool movie in 2018, a couple of years ago, after Deadpool 2 had been released, and they were going to release it during the Christmas season, but it got lost in the shuffle, he says, when Disney bought Fox. A lot of movies of all kinds that Fox was working on were canceled during that period a couple of years ago when the buyout went down, not just the Fox Marvel movies that they had planned. But the Deadpool Christmas movie was meant to be a completely separate, completely different movie from the earlier version of Deadpool 3 that Ryan Reynolds had planned to make before Disney bought Fox, which they'd already plotted out. The funny thing about that earlier version of Deadpool 3 is that it was also going to be a Deadpool-Wolverine team-up movie. The Deadpool Christmas movie would have been much smaller in scope, and it would have taken the place of Once Upon a Deadpool, which was their consolation Christmas movie.
Why the holidays?
Thought it'd be fun.
Why PG-13?
It's a family movie, also money, also Disney.
But it wasn't really a legit Christmas movie, it was just a PG-13 cut of Deadpool 2 meant to be released so that they could earn more money, families could buy extra tickets for the younger kids that normally wouldn't have seen Deadpool 2 because it was rated R. And they just released it during that Christmas holiday later that same year in 2018. The plot of the Deadpool Christmas movie would have been much more about actual Christmas, like a legit Christmas movie, as in Deadpool versus Christmas, Deadpool versus Santa Claus, Deadpool saves Christmas kind of vibe. And the funny thing about Santa Claus is that he is a legit Marvel character. He's a very powerful Omega-level mutant. He's supposed to be one of the most powerful mutants on the planet. Like we talk about mutants coming into the MCU during Marvel Phase 4, Marvel Phase 5, Marvel Phase 6. We just met Namor inside Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and he's another mutant who's been alive for the past 500 years in the MCU, and we're just learning about him now. Santa Claus being a mutant is Marvel's way of explaining how he accomplishes all of his tasks that he does during Christmas night, bringing toys to everyone around the world. The way Ryan Reynolds talked about his Deadpool Christmas movie made it sound like it wasn't like a really huge, really expensive type of movie. So I actually think that Marvel would be better off releasing it as a holiday special one-off in some future year, like the next couple of years at some point. It's a little bit easier for Deadpool to get away with stories like that, especially the more jokey comedic stories, just because of the way the character is built. And the funny thing is that David Harbour, who is now Red Guardian in the MCU, he's going to be in the Thunderbolts movie in a big way. He just made a Christmas movie in real life where he plays a version of Santa Claus. It's called Violent Night, so it's more of like a hardcore Santa Claus. So it just feels like they have all the ingredients for like a really easy, really fun, one-off, small Deadpool holiday special Christmas type of movie. You may remember several years ago now when they released the first Deadpool movie, because it came out in February around Valentine's Day, they spent most of that previous Christmas holiday promoting the movie with the 12 Days of Deadpool. It was probably one of the best marketing campaigns I've ever seen. Guardians of the Galaxy will pick up a little bit after this. Obviously, the next movie is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 will take place a little bit after that in the timeline. This is meant to take place during Christmas 2025, which is the same time as Spider-Man No Way Home. I believe those are meant to be happening around the same time, so when he's swinging around during Christmas in Times Square at the end of that movie, this is that Christmas because this takes place after Thor: Love and Thunder, and they were referencing that during Spider-Man No Way Home, so it was happening around the same time. And yes, the memory spell that Doctor Strange performed would affect them as well, like they'd forget that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, even though they're this far away. It wasn't a situation where the spell just affected planet Earth. The only people the spell would not have affected would be people inside the quantum realm, for instance, like Kang the Conqueror, the other characters that we'll meet during Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. When we pick up with the events of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, though, they're actually going to be finding the version of Gamora who's taken over the Ravagers on the Dark Aster ship, this ship that is featured in all those Yondu flashbacks. The whole idea is that this 2014 version of Gamora went full Thanos because she didn't experience the events of the first couple of Guardians of the Galaxy movies, so she didn't turn against Thanos the same way. So she's meant to be a much more hardcore version of the character that Peter Quill and the others like Nebula, for instance, her sister, are trying to win over to the team. So even though I think that they'll be successful in that, the whole vibe of her character will be completely different because she's meant to be a completely different version of the character. So her relationship with this version of Nebula, with this version of Peter Quill, will be completely different than the other version of Gamora. Groot obviously going to get a little bit bigger during Guardians of the Galaxy 3. The whole idea is that he's turning to the more Chad, full-size version of Groot. But also Cosmo the talking dog will be back in Guardians 3. That's the whole reason why he cast her during this.
I refuse to do any more work while you demean me.
All right. I'm sorry. Chill out.
Also, I want one of those delicious treats in that bag.
I've got a bunch of other videos that I'm working on, so my full breakdown Easter eggs for the entire holiday special will post on Saturday. Make sure you enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. Everyone click here for that video. I'll update the link as soon as I post it. And everyone click here for my Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.